Hey everybody, welcome. This evening was going to share with you some tips and techniques for contouring, especially using ShadowSense products to contour, which is what I will be using today. So by the time I get to the step of contouring, I've already done I do my brows first, and then I do my eyes, and then foundation. So then comes contouring. So that's where I'm at on my face here this evening. My brows are done, my eyes are done. I didn't do them up too fancy. I just did a basic neutral eye tonight because I'm not going anywhere. And then I have my foundation on my entire face. So next up, it will be our step to do our contouring. So to do the contouring, what I use is our ShadowSense in Moca Java, and I love using ShadowSense for contouring. It works really nicely. Other things you can do is to use a foundation that's 2 to 3 shades darker than your normal shade of foundation. You could also use our BlushSense in bronze. You could also use our bronzing translucent facial powder. Those are all would be good options to do contouring with. So lots of different options, and sometimes I will do both if I really want a more dramatic look, or I know I'm getting pictures done or something like that. I will do some initial sort of bronzing with my Mocha Java, and then I'll come back with some, this is a tester for Cinnamon Makes Sense foundation, and then I'll go back and do some deeper contouring with that. For today's purposes, I just want to share with you some, basic contouring that's pretty easy to do, even for every day. And I've gotten to where I do it almost every day. Not every day, but I do it almost every day now. So one of my favorite brushes that I do a lot of the contouring with is this one, and it is a ShadowSense brush. This is actually the brush that comes with the Collagen Night Pack. So after I used up my Collagen Night Pack, I washed it, and I've been using it for contouring ever since. So, so it's just a nice straight edge, so it makes it real easy to do finer contouring, like if you want to contour your nose and things like that, and give clean edges to it. Otherwise, lots of other brushes. I use this one as well to do some of my contouring, which is a Real Techniques brush. I have a lot of Real Techniques brushes as well. They're not horribly expensive. You can get them on Amazon or wherever. So these are the two brushes that I usually use. Strange contouring magic, right? Well, we'll see if you think it's magic by the time I'm done, because I have none on right now. So right now I'm just a straight foundation face. And of course, by applying foundation, we've given ourselves a blank canvas, right? We've kind of made everything look really even. So the purpose of contouring and highlighting, of course, is to add some of that shadows and dimensions back to our face. And I will do a little bit on highlighting too, because if you're going to contour, then you might as well highlight too. So once your foundation is on your face, you're good to start contouring. And so with my Mocha Java cream, not shimmer, you don't ever want to use a shimmer for contouring, always a matte color. So no shimmer to it. So with the wand, I will just use that. So you're going to start with the contour always, of course, right below your cheekbones and work it up to that sort of upper edge of your cheekbone. So the contour is going to be all in this area of your face. If you're not sure where your cheekbones are, you can always do fish lips and kind of figure out where that is. You can kind of make a little line with it too. Sometimes I'll just do little dots of it as well. My Mocha Java is starting to run slightly low, so I put a little more, looks like a little more on than I used to. I used to just have to do a few dots because my applicator was really loaded. Remember, it's ShadowSense, so it starts setting pretty quickly, so when you put it on, it's not like you want to mark up your face with contouring everywhere and then go back. You do want to do it a section at a time, because you don't want your ShadowSense to set on you. But basically, you always want to work that in an upward motion, not in a downward motion, because you don't want this area to be contoured. You want it to contour and give you that sort of cheekbone effect. And if it's not as dark as you want, you can always add a little bit more. I'm always a proponent for, starting light, and you can always add a little bit more to that area. And you do, a lot of contouring guidelines will tell you to keep it back by your ear so you don't look like you have a muddy face and everything like that. But you do actually need to make sure it's up far enough. If it's on the side of your face, nobody's going to see your nice contouring, right? It does have to come up far enough so your cheekbones, people can start to tell that shadow from the front of your face, right? So let's do the other side. So we'll just do some dots along here, and I'm going to bring that up. That's why I really like this brush for getting it blended in well. I like this one because it keeps everything where I want it and keeps it from getting where I don't want it, but I like the other one for making sure it's well blended in. Okay, so this is usually the area that we'll start with contouring, is on the cheekbones, is the first sort of place to start. Other areas that you can contour on pretty much everything. I am on everybody. I don't always do the contouring on the forehead because I wear bangs, and even if I did it, I usually am covering it up. But for people that don't have bangs, it's a good thing to do. And basically for that, all as I do is I put 2 dots of my Mocha Java on each side of the forehead here. Okay, yeah, it'll be just a minute and I'll be done. Okay, and so that's for the forehead contouring. Then the other place to contour, of course, is around the jawline and chin. Most people can have some contouring around their chin area if they have a very, I don't know, sunken chin, or their chin's placed back a little bit, then we may actually want to highlight it to bring it out to make their face look not so uneven. Otherwise most people can have a little bit. And then of course, you know, either as people age and the jawline doesn't get as defined, then the contouring around the jawline helps make that look all much more defined. So I will take that Mocha Java 2 around my whole chin area, and then I also bring some under here because I don't have a real great defined jawline anyway, and so creating a little more shadow under there makes it look less obvious, makes that double chin look less obvious, right? So then we'll blend that all around. Sorry, I'm gonna have to swipe comments away because I can't see. I will look at them back in a minute. Okay, and you can always bring that up a little bit higher onto the chin if the person has a, you know, sort of a chin that juts out a little bit more as well. And then the last place to usually do the highlighting is in the nose area. So depending upon the person's nose, if they have a larger nose, you may want to put some contour on the tip of the nose, or if you have an area that bulges out underneath, you'll want to put some contour under there, and that'll make that look less obvious. But otherwise, just to help the nose look a little more defined, usually I just do a few little dots along sort of that upper edge of the nose, and that's where, again, I like my fine brush, and then I just blend that down, and that's going to create a shadow on my nose. And then if I do the other side, this is the one I've actually had the most fun with lately because it's like, wow, it really changes it. Is contouring going to make or break anybody? No, but it's kind of fun to play with. Okay. And then hopefully you can kind of tell now that my cheekbones look a little more pronounced than when we started, and my nose looks more defined as well. And then I have more shadow in this area, so more of the attention goes to the person's face rather than to their neck, which is what we want with any makeup that we're doing. So that, quite simply, is the areas to contour. ShadowSense makes it really pretty easy to do. So I always do the cheekbones, the jawline and jowl and the sides of my nose. And then of course if you don't have bangs, then you can do the forehead as well. To go with any contouring, then you're going to want to add some highlighting. There's a couple of ShadowSense products you can use to highlight. One will be a Pearlizer, which is what I'm going to use if I want a more dramatic highlight for a dressier occasion. Sandstone Pearl Shimmer actually works amazingly good as a highlighter. That's what I used on Emma for her 1920s look, actually, when I did her makeup. But Pearlizer works really, really well for most people for highlighter. Just a little bitty dab will do it. So for highlighting, we're thinking the opposite areas we want to bring out and draw more attention to. So that's going to be the top of the cheekbone. So we'll pat some of that Pearlizer up on the top of the cheekbone on both sides. And then other areas to highlight are the bridge of the nose, Cupid's bow, which is right here. Just adding a little bit right there. You can also add some to the chin, again, if they have that sort of recessed chin. You can add some to the forehead here as well. And then the other place that you can put highlighter as well is right above the brow. A lot of people tend to put it here under the brow, but that tends to draw people's eye away from your eye. And you want all your eye makeup to draw attention to your eyes and show how pretty your eyes are. So putting it under here tends to draw attention to the glitter right here. Putting it above keeps the attention on your eye. So then of course with any highlighter you just, you want to make sure it is blended in well. But you can kind of see that that gives that little shimmery glow when the light hits it on the tops of the cheekbones and the top of the nose. And especially if you're having pictures taken, it looks really pretty to have that little bit of highlight on as well. So then lastly, to sort of finish up your cheeks is going to be your blush. And our BlushSense is really amazing if you're not used to using a creamy blush. It's really super easy to use. This is our Toasted Rose blush, which is my favorite one I use most. I probably use Terracotta second. But I've actually used Cherry as well, which is the really red one. You just need a teensy weensy little bit of that one. Little teeny bit of BlushSense is all you need. So I take a little dot of that, pat it between both my fingers, and then the blush you're going to want to put right on the apples of your cheeks. So if you're doing it on someone else, have them smile. Otherwise, you smile, and then that's exactly where you're going to want to put your blush. Is right sort of that, where if you were out in the sun, you would get naturally kissed by the sun. If you blushed, that's where you would blush. So that's where you want your blush. You don't want it on stripes back here on your face that no one will see unless they're looking at the side of your face. You want it to complement and make you look healthy in the front of your face. And voila! Those are sort of the 3 steps that to me, they kind of work together, so I felt like I had to do all 3 with the contouring. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I'm going to go eat my dinner now, and I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.